Welcome back, everybody. This is game number 2 of AHGL's playoffs. Microsoft, who is spawning War Death, the blue Terran, spying down in the bottom right-hand corner. It's morphin' time, says War Death. He knows what's up. And he is going up against National Instruments Sergeant York, the red Zerg, spawning up in the top right-hand corner. And they're down 0-1 right now, so definitely would like a win right now. They're having a little fun in the chat. It looks like there's not as strict of rules in terms of chat as, you know, maybe Pro League or something like that. Here, you can say a few more things, I guess. Because this is the After Hours Gaming League, it's supposed to be pretty chill, pretty relaxed. These guys just got back from a hard day's work, and that is, from what I understand, everybody who plays on the team is an employee of the company. I'm pretty sure that's correct, unless there's some sort of crazy thing. But I'm pretty sure it's everybody who plays on that team is an employee of the company. I have had the chance to talk with a few of the players slash employees. I'm trying to get one of the guys from IBM on my team currently. So I mean, you know, it's a lot of fun. We all have a lot of fun, or they all have a lot of fun here, is what I should say. So a scout from Sergeant York, gonna get in there, gonna see what's up. He'll go ahead and scout this barracks. Poor SCV gonna take the long way around the map. Star Station, such a huge map. I do love just like all of the effects and stuff though, and the whole moving. I think that's cool. The fact that it's just like moving, even though it's, you know, I guess it's not amazing, but there's all these little cool little details around the map and stuff. Little things coming out of the lights. I don't know. I'm a sucker, I guess, for cool looking maps. So hatch first, coming out from Sergeant York. Pretty standard opener right here. And what did we have? Did we have anything fancy? I don't think there was anything fancy going on from Sergeant York. Just going for a typical barracks into gas opener right here. Oh, nope, gas into barracks, because note the amount of gas that he has at this time. If you want to get that factory down first, you go gas then barracks. If you get the barracks then gas, you won't have enough gas to immediately get down that factory. So he really grabbed an early gas, because look at how fast he got that factory. He had like 32 extra gas plus this reactor. Now he's leaving one guy on here. I think this is going to give him enough for possibly a Widow Mine and a Hellion, maybe 2 Widow Mines by the time it's done mining. I'm not exactly sure. I have not quite seen this build out of any Terrans yet. SCV over here does get a scout on this hatchery. Gonna give it a little poke right there, make sure it knows who's boss. And War Death now pretty content, not even get a scout for the gas right there. Just gonna head back, and here goes the transition. And look at how perfectly this times up. 50 gas. You can get a double Widow Mine exactly if you want. Oh, he goes to double Hellion. So, well, forget what I said then. I'm just speaking out my butt, I guess. Yeah, I thought it was the coolest alignment that I had ever seen. I was like, that is so perfect. He gets that early gas at that point, so then he can get the Widow Mines out, and then he'll have the double Widow Mine really early that he can run into his opponent's mineral line before spores or layers or anything like that are done to detect it, and everything's going to be great. And then he goes double Hellion. So, you know, it's still a typical cool opener. All the Lings right now, though, chasing after this SCV, they will kill it, but the Hellions might be able to sneak on by right here. These Lings do not have speed yet. Speed is only 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. So still a minute left on that. And I mean, that's not a slow speed by any means. It's just these are fast Hellions. I mean, they were over here at 510 where they were standing. So he's going to be able to fry off these Lings if he does micro this properly, and it looks like he will. The Lings lining up now for some juicy hits. He's going to be able to get most of those Lings. He right-clicks on these unbuildable plates. Darn you, Blizzard, get rid of the plates or make them so you can't attack them by just right-clicking them. Hellion's going to get into the main now. He's going to be able to start roasting drones. They're starting to line up. He's getting a couple drone kills right there. A nice surround, it looks like, from those drones. Going to be able to actually take not the worst amount of losses I've seen. Uh-oh, that one hurt a little bit. And this last Hellion is actually doing so much damage. So 8 workers killed. If we take a look at the worker tab, 21 to 17. Not the best position for Zerg, but definitely not the worst, considering there were 4 Hellions and he did not have speedlings for a majority of that time. And in the meantime, of course, you have to look over here. This command center is not even done yet. for War Death. So a lot of times, you know what, by 7 minutes, the command center's already fully functioning, pumping out units, already orbital commands. War Death, of course, delayed that for those early Hellions and did some decent damage. I'd say 8 drones. I mean, in terms of units lost tab, you know, it's pretty darn even right there. So I'd say it's still pretty even. And now Sergeant York, of course, has these speedlings out on the map to get a little bit more map control. And do we have mech? Yes, we do. 3 factories coming down right now. So we are going to have some mech play right here. And the key now for Sergeant York is getting a scout on this. He's going to have Overlord start to get in position. You definitely want to get a scout on if your opponent's going for mech or if he's going for bio. Of course, because if going for mech and you stick to those lings a little bit too long, can't quite make the transition to roaches, you can have a very bad time. So he's going to be losing a few more lings as they're stuck out here. Enough queens and a spine crawler right here, I believe, should be enough to force these Hellions back. I would not run in there if I were you for War Death. I would be very, very, very careful. Just use these to deny creep. That is definitely your best bet. Take your expansion behind this. I mean, you know what? Have a good time. But do not run those Hellions beyond there. That is just asking for death. It looks like he actually will just retreat them right now and drop a scan on the main to see if there's a lair. No lair yet has come down for our Zerg player. I'm imagining he's going to be grabbing it pretty darn soon as he does hit 100 gas right here. Spores being thrown down, so a little bit of blind sporing. Oh, maybe just throwing him down for the possible Widow Mines. He did not see a dropship, but he does see that at his mech right here. So we'll see what he's going to do with that. Hellions can actually run by. Now these lings stuck outside this base. Hellions going to get into the main right here and start roasting away at those drones. He has to be careful right here as the lings come in and get a decent surround on these Hellions, doing decent damage. Uh-oh, now they're kind of in a tricky situation. And not bad at all for the Zerg player right there. I'd say that was a pretty good cleanup. Only lost 7 additional drones and a few lings to take out those Hellions. I would definitely say that was pretty darn good. He still, though, needs to drone up. That's the thing, is he's just been making lings. So it looked like he might have been going for that Ling Bane all-in attack right there before. But decided to pull back when all the Hellions, of course, came running on in. So 28 lings on the way, Bane Nest on the way, 3rd base on the way as well. I didn't mean all in, I meant like heavy attack, of course. And he's, of course, going to have to be careful of these Widow Mines. I have seen these Widow Mines do no damage, and I have seen them get like 21 kills. So it's actually going to get activated right there. And these lings gonna stream in. Need to be careful. There's blue flame Hellions. Ooh, painful to watch. That hurt my eyes. That was so bright. So much fire right there. And War Death now gonna start walling off as well. Sergeant York morphing some Banes right here. Not many lings to follow up with this though. So when it does go and make the hit, it's, I don't know. There's a lot of blue flame Hellions there. I would back out if I were you, Sergeant York. Don't charge in there. I feel like you can be okay if you just hold off. But he seems pretty committed. There's a lot of lings right here. And uh-oh, these blue flame Hellions are going to get out and they're going to scout everything. And that might be enough to force Sergeant York, not Sergeant Ling, back. No, he's actually going to go for this counter right here. Needs to detonate. These, oh, did not detonate it. Oh my gosh. And the Hellions now going to go ahead and run up into the main as well. These are blue flame, of course, so you have to remember how much damage blue flames do to drones and everything. They just absolutely maul them to death. I believe it's 2 shots. And is Carapace done? Okay, Carapace is done, so that may make it 3 shots. Maybe. But Queen's actually doing some decent damage right here to these Hellions. They haven't quite moved to where the drones are. In fact, they've picked off a majority of the drones up there. So those are going to fall, and yet again, I mean, units lost tab, besides those lings that kind of ran over there and got demolished, I feel like Sergeant York's still not terrible in the units lost tab, but unfortunately, he's just so far behind in the workers. 51 to 28. War Death has just been a war machine in terms of building all of his SCVs, just non-stop SCV production, which is great. And more drones need to be made here for Sergeant York. Spare drones just kind of chilling. Spire Tech is on the way right here. Thought I could click it. Oh, I can. Okay. And as well, a Roach Warren to go ahead and show or start getting roaches against these Hellions, because he's like, alright, you know what, I've had enough dealing with these Blue Flame Hellions with Lings. Time to maybe get some roaches. Blue Flame Hellions now going to charge over to this third base, possibly. Nope, going to get intercepted by a Queen, possibly some Lings, and going to end up just backing off, heading home. And, oh, actually killing a few Lings right there. So, nice micro right there by War Death. And going to pick up a couple more kills on these Hellions right here. Big tank army starting to form here in the natural of War Death. And how many factories? Oh my gosh. 5 factories just going. 4 with tech labs. So Thor's now on the way as well. Excuse me 1 second. So Thor's on the way. 3rd command center has gone down. More tanks up on the high ground right here. This is starting to look like a very scary army for War Death. I do like Sergeant York's creep spread though. Look at this. I mean, he's really starting to push this out. If he continues with this, I mean, very, very quickly just starts pumping out these creep tumors, continuing to do some damage there, he could be in a pretty good position in terms of at least having vision. And you know what, that's very key, especially against a Terran army that's pushing across the map, has to kind of make that slow push across. The further they have to start sieging up, the better off you are. So Hellions now gonna possibly be in trouble as the Muta is trying to find him right there. They will. And the Hellions trying to deny this creep spread. He knows he does not want that to continue moving. And Muta's just going to keep chasing there for a little bit. Finally going to back off. Of course, there are Thors back home, so probably not going to be able to really get into this main and do too much damage. We'll see what he does with these Mutas. And just leaves them outside. He could get in here and pick off a couple of tanks. Maybe try and keep War Death at bay. He'll try and fly in and back out pretty quickly when he sees that. So yes, now he's going to head over to the tanks. And is he going to get it? Yes, he will get 1 tank. Does lose 1 Muta for it. Not a terrible trade. And gets a 2nd tank as well. So nicely done there by Sergeant York. Going to go ahead and pull back at this time. Upgrades, upgrades, upgrades. Neither player does not have very many upgrades. We do have the +1 weapons on the way right now for our Terran player, War Death. And Sergeant York getting his plus... Nope, he already has +1 Carapace, but that's it. Does not have any more upgrades. Needs to drone as well. Oh, please. He's droning a little bit. Swarm Host on the way. One of my favorite to watch units, I must say. It's a very interesting unit, right? It's not something that you can just kind of get out in a couple, you know, 3 or something. I haven't really at least seen them used where you just get 3 of them and they just kind of like go chill and do a ton of damage. Or lay siege, because you know they can just go out and pick it off usually. But when you kind of have some support for them, and especially against like mech armies, you have a good support and you have a lot of swarm host in there, it is so deadly, so hard to deal with. I really do like watching how they are used, and I love to kind of watch in the future. That's going to be probably one of my favorite things to see the pro players do, is how they start utilizing swarm host a little bit more in their matchups. So we do have this 3rd base now being saturated for War Death. Great macro play from him the entire time. And while he's doing that, he's going to swing around with these Blue Flame Hellions who have not been scouted until just about now. Going to be flying on in over to this base, start picking off some Lings, picking off some drones. They're trying to split up as best as they can, but you know, it's pretty darn difficult to split. I must say, not bad though, whatsoever. Actually probably took less damage than he dealt right there, killing those Blue Flame Hellions. So very nice splits right there by Sergeant York. How many drones we have killed though? 31 in total. He was at 15 before, then he got in the base a couple more times. So I'd say there's probably like 7 drones killed that time, and 3 left not mining. But not too shabby, not at all for Sergeant York right there, who has these Mutas continuing to have map control, and this creep spread continuing to push out across the map. Of course, the one glaringly or the one glaring thing that you cannot deny at this point is 100 supply in the favor of War Death right now. So that, of course, is going to be very difficult to deal with. I mean, this mech army just so strong. Oh my goodness, how do you kill this right here? Definitely going to take more than 1 wave of units is all I can think of. But Sergeant York, you know, he's in this tough position where it's like he wants to drone, but at the same time you have to have units out to defend. What do you do at this time as War Death pushes across the map with his Death Ball army? SCV is going to go ahead and join in as well because you know what? Why not? Let's just add a little bit of repair to this deathly army. I guess that's all you can call it, just deathly. So